everyone, and welcome to your next episode of Cooking with Nichole. Today we are going to do some low carb enchiladas. Going to take a little different twist on it. We're not going to do the traditional red sauce and ground beef. I'm going to actually use ground turkey, and we're going to make our sauce super creamy with some cream cheese and a little bit of the green chile enchilada sauce, and then we'll take it over and we'll create our enchiladas with some low carb tortillas. I bet you didn't know that you could still have enchiladas when following a lower carb or keto, probably pushing it on the keto side, more so going to be a low carb dish for you low carbers tonight versus keto. So maybe you're wondering, well, what is the difference, Nichole? What is the difference between low carb and keto? Low carb is net grams of carb 100 grams or less, whereas keto is more technically can be seen as 50 net carbs or less. But if you're really wanting to get into nutritional ketosis and you're really wanting to burn fat, it technically is 20 net carbs or less. And so you're definitely going to be burning all body fat because you've eliminated that other fuel source, carbs or sugar or glucose, out of the bloodstream. And that's why a lot of people take on the keto lifestyle, is because they want to burn body fat, or they want to improve their diabetes, they want to improve their heart disease, because when we have high amounts of glucose or sugar in our bloodstream, it causes a lot of problems. And so a lot of people opt to go for the keto or the ketosis route. I don't honestly know that you have to get that restrictive with yourself. I've been following a low carb lifestyle, which is 75 grams of net carb, for the last 8 years of my life, and I lost 30 pounds, and I've maintained that now for 8 years. And it's very much doable because you still have a lot of awesome products out there that you can create a lot of awesome tasty meals, as you have been seeing for the last 6 weeks. And so if you're wanting to lose weight, and if you're wanting to try a lower carb or a ketogenic way of life, don't feel that you have to get crazy by starting out with that 20 net carbs or less. Start out with 75. Heck, even start out with 100 grams of net carb. The average American consumes over 250 grams of net carb a day. And so you just pulling it down to 100 grams is a great start. As you start to see your weight plateau, then you just keep pulling it down and down and down until you're able to have a lifestyle that you can still enjoy the foods that you're having, but also loving the weight loss, loving the way that you feel, the way that you look, and going from there. So tonight we're going to get started with our low carb enchiladas. What I already have browned up here is 1 pound of ground turkey. I've seasoned it with salt, pepper, garlic powder, and some onion flake. Now I'm going to turn it back up, the temp up a little bit. I turned it down while I was prepping for the video because I didn't want the meat to get too overdone and dry, because I didn't use any olive oil. And you certainly can use some olive oil on the bottom of your pan if you want to prevent things from getting sticky. So what I'm going to do is I have 1/4 cup of our green enchilada sauce, and I'm just going to pour that down into here just to moisten this a little bit and add a little bit of flavor to the meat. And then I'm going to add to it a full brick of cream cheese. So we have 8 ounces of cream cheese. I've sliced it up into individual slices just so that it melts down a little easier. So I'm going to get this process started. When we're all said and done, we'll bring you back, okay? All right, everyone, so we've got our meat mixture done here. I have the cream cheese and the enchilada sauce and the turkey ground meat all combined together here. And now we're going to fill up our low carb tortillas, and we're going to place them in the pan, bake them at 400 degrees for about 14-15 minutes. This is another great brand for low carb tortilla. Another one that I've used in a number of my videos is the Mission Carb Balance tortillas. There's a lot of different varieties of lower carb tortillas, and one thing that I want to explain, in the first part of the video I talked about keto and low carb, and the differences. And of course, when I say 100 grams net carb, I'm talking per day total and not per meal. I'm talking per day total. And how do we figure out what a net carb is? Well, you're always going to look at your nutrition facts label, and you're going to look at the total carbs, and you're going to subtract out the fiber. The total carbs is all encompassing of all of the sugar and all of the flour that make up this product. And then the fiber is, of course, fiber. It's a nutritional traveler or transport, if you will. It takes our nutrition and travels it through our body. But the reason why we get to subtract fiber is because we don't absorb it. We don't use it. It goes in, it distributes our nutrition, and it comes right back out the same way that it went in. And so that's why we get to subtract fiber, and it makes again, it easier to live in a lower carb or a keto lifestyle, because of course you get to have a few more food options versus counting total carbs all the time, which you can certainly do too. Your sugars are definitely going to be much lower. I don't know that there's definitely a wrong way or a right way. I think the way that I cook and teach is probably going to be considered a more of a dirty keto, but I just consider it lower carb lifestyle, and it's totally acceptable, and you're going to have great weight loss with that too. So we have our low carb tortilla, and I have a large spoon, and we're just going to scoop out probably 1 scoop of a large spoon. This is probably close to about a tablespoon of the meat, and we're gonna put it down the middle of our tortilla. You could add sprinkled cheese down the middle of this. I think the filling is gonna be flavorful enough, and then you're gonna have your green chili enchilada sauce poured over the top of it, so don't feel that you really need to have any more in the tortilla. And then we're gonna roll it up here. We're just gonna roll it up, and then we're going to place it into our 9x13 baking dish with the seam side down. You want to put the seam side down so they don't flip open and all of the contents come out. We're going to continue to do this and make enough enchiladas to fill up this 9x13 pan. Once we come back, we'll top it then with our enchilada sauces and cheese and pop it in the oven. We'll bring you right back. All right, so I'm just on the last enchilada here, and you can see in the pan, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there'll be 7 enchiladas in the 9x13 baking pan. If I would have rolled a couple of them smaller, I think I probably could have gotten a total of 8, but one of them got a little big. So I have 7 enchiladas rolled up in our pan here, and I'm just gonna get some of this stuff out of our way. And we're going to now dress the enchiladas. So I am going to just simply pour 2 cans of the green chili enchilada sauce over the top of the enchiladas. You're like, do you really need 2? I've always thought that myself when I've made enchiladas, and I do think you need 2 because there needs to be more moisture overall. And you may not need to use the full 2 cans, but it definitely helps to just make them good and saucy. And I love good and saucy enchiladas. This is one of my favorite ways to do enchiladas. I could have certainly used like regular chicken breast cut up and cooked the chicken breast and seasoned it versus using ground meat. I didn't have any chicken on hand tonight, so I compromised and used the ground turkey meat instead. But that is another option. You can also do this with ground beef and the red enchilada sauce if that's more of your game. This is just kind of another fun little way of trying something different. And I've had a couple of people ask for some different Mexican options as well. And there are people after my own heart. I love Mexican food too. So we have our enchiladas here, and I'm going to use some quesadilla cheese. You can use good old pepper jack. You could use cheddar. You could use whatever cheese you would prefer. And so I'm just going to put this down over the top. The quesadilla cheese is a really soft kind of cheese. It melts awesome. It gets all that nice stringy, gooey cheese on things. And as I've told you guys on a number of occasions, we're very much a cheesy family. And I think you just got a little shot of my furry friend down here at the bottom of my feet. Cheese is one of his ultimate favorites too. So we always make sure we give him a little bit as well. So Here we go. We got our enchiladas all done up here, all dressed, and now I'm gonna pop it in the oven at 400 degrees and we're gonna let it bake until the cheese is nice and golden and melted down. I didn't quite have time to get you your nutrition facts put together tonight, but it will be included in the post itself, and look for the recipe there. I hope you have a wonderful evening tonight and a wonderful weekend, and you all have a great sweet deal waiting for you.